for two. Kickers are extra, I give them the boot. Ooh, going for two. Sit back, relax while I grab me a brew. Ooh, now I'm reclining while putting my time and I'm ready to go. My spine is aligning and much my lineups, my bank account grow. I am so rich, but knowledge is all that I'm leaving it with. Ooh, listen to this. Multiple options, how far can I get? Ooh, DFS Dynasty redraft tonight, I'm not finishing last. I'm finishing past any and all, I am looking to last. What else? This spot is popping and I am so locked in and only opening the door when it is opportunity knocking. And all of these spots keep on talking and talking. So what are we talking? What kind of alignment? And running it deep, even players forgotten or came from the bottom or hitting that top. And this spot is popping, yeah, this spot is popping. And woo! This is the Armchair, yeah. Put up your arms, yeah. Sound the alarm, yeah, yeah, yeah. Woo! This is the Armchair, yeah. Put up your arms, yeah. Sound the alarm, yeah, yeah, yeah. Woo!
What is going on, guys? Welcome to episode 202 of the Armchair Fantasy Show. I am your host, of course, Jeff Lambert. Follow me on Twitter at Jeff Lambert. Set here every Wednesday night on the Going for Two Live podcast network on Facebook Live, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. Syndicated in all major podcast networks and streaming the Going for Two app for iOS and Android. If you're on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button for us. It helps us out tremendously. And we're also running a contest, and you could win a personal league podcast from us during the draft next week. As always, I am here with my co-host, Mr. Ryan Searfoss. Ryan, how you doing tonight, man?
Yeah, I'm doing great. We're a week away from the draft. Oh, week and a day.
A week and a
Trying
day.
Exciting, man.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. We've been talking about this. It seems like forever. It's finally going to be here. So let's hope everything goes according to plan, and we take Justin Fields and not Mac Jones.
McCorkle time.
All right. Also joining us tonight for the first time on the podcast, he's co-host of the Fantasy Football Funhouse. He's also co-host on the Daily DFS podcast. And creator of the Scott Fish Bowl 24-hour Pod-a-Thon, Mr. Sal Leto. What's up, Sal?
What's up, gentlemen? Thank you for having me on tonight.
Definitely glad to have you on, man. So real quick, for those that may not know who you are or what the Pod-a-Thon is, give us a little bit of a rundown of all that stuff.
Yeah, so, as you mentioned at the top of the show, we originally started as the Falafel House. If you remember, Jeff, way back in the Fantasy Life app days, we were the Falafel House. There you go. And we melded into the Fantasy Football Funhouse. That was me, Steve, and Kevin. And we don't do that show as, consistently as we used to. We have the two main shows we do a year. We do the Festivus episode where we have everybody come on and grieve about what went wrong in your fantasy football season. And back for year 4, we created together, it was my idea, but I'll let them get in on it. We created the 24-hour Pod-a-Thon around the Scott Fish Bowl, which is happily become synonymous now with draft day. Year 1, we raised $4,700. Year 2, $6,200, and last year we exploded for $42,000. It was insane. I was hoping when I came up with the idea, I was hoping by year 5, it would hit its stride. It blew the stride away in year 3, and I'm hoping we hit 50,000 this year. And we built that in the mold of what Scott built the SFB about, which is have fun in the community and do good for charity at the same time. And Scott always donated to Toys for Tots, which we had always done also. But last year, based on the climate in this country, we wanted to do something with social justice as well. So we gave half the money to the Equal Justice Initiative last year as well. And, I'll be probably looking for some ideas this year to spread that money out a little bit more. There's always a lot of worthy causes. So if you're listening, you want to get involved, you want to maybe give me some suggestion as to where we could get our money out this year, I'd definitely be willing to listen.
Awesome. Yeah, it's the great stuff. Me and Ryan last year, for the first time, were able to actually get on there. I know we've been asked a few times. We just never work it into our schedule. But I know me and Ryan both had a lot of fun on that podcast last year. And it's 24 hours, man. I don't know how you do it, man. I'm dreading the 4-hour podcast I have next week. You're on there for 24 hours. That's crazy. It's gonna be a different this year, right? A different day, I think, because July 4th kind of threw it off, right? Usually it goes Sunday to Monday. Are y'all gonna be pushing it one day?
Yeah, so we Actually, year one, we did Monday. We did Monday into Tuesday, which is what we're going to end up doing this year. We did do that year one. And then I thought, it kind of makes sense. Let's get that Sunday crowd in the past. But you are right. 4th of July is on Sunday. And nobody, not even myself, would be sitting there on 4th of July doing that. So what does work out is that you celebrate the holiday as far as work on July 5th. So most people, I believe, will have the paid day off on Monday. So I'm hoping there'll be nurse hangovers with us at 9 a.m. on the East Coast. Kickoff time, 6 a.m. out there on the West Coast. And yeah, we'll go Monday 9 a.m. till Tuesday 9 a.m. starting on July 5th.
Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, so we got a pretty good show tonight. We're going to be doing a 2-round SuperFlex mock draft with a little bit of a twist. We're actually going to mock and draft players, but then we're also going to draft their landing spot as well. And we can't pick the same landing spot twice. So I have a little spreadsheet set up here so we can keep track of all that. So let's go ahead and just jump right into that.
I have a question for that.
Attention, everyone.
If we're doing a realistic
draft.
pick.
Sorry, Ryan. I hit the sounder there. What was your question?
I said if it's something we know is happening, aka pick number 1, we're still sticking with that. We're not.
Yeah, try to keep it to somewhat realistic landing spots. Yeah, because, I mean, you put Trevor Lawrence, somewhere else besides the Jacksonville Jaguars, it just, wouldn't make sense for sure.
Okay, that's all. That's my only curiosity.
All right, good stuff.
Now you can do the soundbite.
Well, we already ran it, so we're just going to go with it here. So with the 101, Sal, you are up. You are the guest. You get to pick the 101 here. I'm assuming it's a pretty easy pick for you.
Yeah, thank God I got the 101. Makes it nice and easy to kick off. So we all know it's basically a done deal. So we'll do Trevor Lawrence to the Jacksonville Jaguars, and in the SuperFlex, I'm more than happy to be in that spot and take him home, number 1.
Yep, definitely. I mean, that's the least kept secret right now is definitely that Trevor Lawrence is going 101 there, and he'll probably go 101 in pretty much every SuperFlex rookie mock for sure. Ryan, you are up at the 102.
So, I know it's 2 weeks in a row I'm bringing him up to this team, but I'm taking Justin Fields. I'm putting him in San Francisco. I think that system is perfect for him. He was used to that quick hit offense at Ohio State. He has that with Debo and Ayuk. He has those guys who can rapidly catch. He has George Kittle as a quarterback's best friend. The running lanes that offense gives mediocre running backs to thrive is great, but you give an athletic quarterback those as well, it's going to be just fantasy gold. So fantasy-wise, I'm really hoping it happens. And it would, if it happens, I'd have hesitation on my 101. It'd probably still be Lawrence, but I'd kind of hesitate.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it brings him a little bit closer. I think you still have to go 101 unless you just absolutely love Justin Fields, which we know. Couple guys that going for 2 definitely love him and might actually take him 101. But yeah, I like that, especially going to San Francisco there. Of course, I really hope that's what happens in the NFL draft. So I like your pick there. And of course, with that Shanahan offense, I think he will definitely thrive for sure. All right, so I'm up next here, and I'm looking at if I want to go with the 3rd quarterback in a row, or do I want to go ahead and take the first running back off the board? And I think I'm going to go ahead and take that first running back. He'll be the 101 in most non-Superflex leagues, I think, and that's Mr. Najee Harris at the 103. And I'm going to put him in Pittsburgh, actually. I think if he lands there, he becomes an instant, fantasy stud, I think. I think he'll be a workhorse. We know Pittsburgh wants to do the workhorse back. They always have. The last few years they've done this committee because they didn't have a really dominant back to take that workhorse. I think Najee Harris can be that guy. So give me Najee Harris at the 103 to Pittsburgh. And Sal, we are back to you for the 104.
Oh, so you guys are just gonna let these quarterbacks fall to me and make it easy for me in a Superflex. I hope Fields goes at number 3 for you to the 49ers, and then if that's the case, I think Ryan made the right choice. But I had my thing written down here and I have it in front of me. Okay, so that leaves me with Zach Wilson. Listen, he's going number 2 to the Jets. I'm in New York, and it's all but a sure thing in New York. That's where they're going with the pick. I think they've kind of basically given that away. And in a super flex, I'm loading up on quarterbacks, and I don't know that I expect them to even get this far. I know it's the Jets. I know Jets rookie quarterbacks have a history of not, panning out. But yeah, I'm going to go with Mr. Wilson.
With Mr. Wilson, and of course to the Jets. I like that pick there, and that would have been who I would have gone with if I didn't go Najee Harris. But I am a little nervous with the Jets being what they are and the history they have there. So I'll go with Najee Harris and give me a little bit more of a sure thing. All right, Ryan, you are up at the 105.
I feel real gross, what I want to say, because I'm completely against this. But we're talking perfect landing spots and match of the player. And I'm picking Kyle Pitts to the Chargers. I think you give Justin Herbert that kind of primetime weapon, it's going to be crazy. They're already throwing 550 times a game to a beat-up Mike Williams and Keenan Allen last year. You get them a guy who can he's 8 to 10 touchdowns right off the bat for them and will produce in that offense. And he's as big as Mike Williams, plus faster, better receiving threat, and he's going to just shred the middle of the field there. If he goes there, I can't picture a better landing spot for almost any top pick.
Yeah, I agree 100%. That would be an amazing landing spot with Hunter Henry leaving and the amount of targets that he received last year from Herbert, and his athletic ability trumps Hunter Henry by a mile. And I think that Pitts is that guy that's so far and above the number one overall. I mean, I know everyone's picking Trevor Lawrence, but I think Trevor Lawrence to Justin Fields is a lot closer than Kyle Pitts is to any tight end number two in this class. So it's not even close. So I love that landing spot.
And the other thing with Pitts, seeing how ADP was last week when we had Ryan McDowell on, about him having essentially a 4th round ADP, trade value wise, that's enormous.
Yeah.
Like, that puts him at a higher trade value than if Jamar Chase went somewhere great, even though he's there just because he's following down the receiving run. Kyle Pitts, they're drafting him like a top guy at the position right now. So that ups the value, even if someone would draft Chase over him. His trade value might be more position scarcity.
I like it. All right. I am up here at the 106, and as per usual, this has always been difficult for me trying to host and draft at the same time. So here I am. I'm looking at a couple running backs around on the board right now. Travis Etienne, of course, is there. Javonte Williams is there. I do like both of those guys. But I'm gonna go a little bit different here. I'm gonna take actually Jamar Chase, and I'm gonna put Jamar Chase. Let's see where we can put Jamar Chase. I'm gonna put in the Detroit Lions. I think he can go in there and take over for where Kenny Galladay kind of left off, and be that number one receiver there. I know the situation with the QB is not great with Goff, but I do think that Goff was able to make Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp relevant. I think if Chase is there, he can do the same with him as well. So give me Jamar Chase to the Detroit Lions. And
so the rules are I can't pick a team that you already picked.
Correct.
Or any pick, right?
For the same position.
For the same position, yeah, for the same position. So you can pick another position.
Damn it, it's gonna be tough for me to keep track of that too.
I sent the spreadsheet to you. I'm marking them off as we go. I don't know if you got it. It should be in the chat there.
Yeah, I got the computer here, the iPad here, the phone here. I'm trying to keep up with everything. I'm a technology nightmare. But anyway, you were talking about a couple of running backs there, and I'll go running back here, and I'll go Etienne. I'll go Etienne to the Buffalo Bills. I think the Bills need to make that pick. They need to get themselves a legit running back. It's what they're missing in that offense right now. They could afford to go tight end also, but with Pitts off the board here, it doesn't make any sense to go in another direction this early at tight end for them. So, yeah, I'm liking Etienne to the Bills.
I love it. That's a great pick there, and I do think that Etienne would definitely take over there and be the number one back. I think Singletary and Zach Moss really haven't panned out, and Etienne can be that guy. All right, Ryan, we are up to you, and we are at the 107.
All right, so the two spots the team picks are a little rough, but Miami, the way they're talking, looks like they're moving around the draft. And I'm picking Jalen Waddle there. I think the connection he has with Tua already's there, and they play very well together. They have two big body receivers. They lack that explosive, and he's one of the biggest playmakers in the draft. He's my wide receiver, too. He does a little bit of everything. He's not just a speed guy. And it would be perfect for that offense. for two with that quick hit. I think Waddle does exactly what they need to do, and it's something that will work in fantasy because they do match up so well together.
All right, yeah, I love that. I love that pick and that landing spot for sure. All right, so 2 receivers are off the board, 2 running backs off the board. I'm looking at, let's see, who am I looking at here? I got Javonte Williams. That's who I'm going to go with here. I'm going to go with Javonte Williams, take the last top 3 running back here, and I'm going to put him on the Arizona Cardinals, who obviously let Kenyon Drake walk and now have a hole there. Sorry, Chase Edmonds, truthers, but Javonte Williams to the Cardinals for me. All right, Sal, we are up to you, and we are at the 109.
I lost you guys for half a second there, so if you could just recap me where you put Javonte Williams.
Javonte Williams is in Arizona, the Cardinals.
Arizona. I was thinking he'd be a nice landing spot with the Steelers, but I love Javonte Williams, man. That kid, he's got so much tread on the tires. You know what I mean? He's so unabused.
Yep.
I'm going to be real interested to see what he does in the NFL. All right, well, you guys are really attacking all the running backs there. That leaves us with a guy who, some people thought might go in the top 3 a few months back, and that's Devonta Smith. And I like Devonta Smith, and I could get him here at this spot. What do we got? The 10th pick, the 9th pick, the 10th pick?
The 10th pick, yep.
I am going to put him with the New York Giants. New York Giants need a playmaker over there. I realize they signed the big boy in the offseason, but he's never healthy. So I'm going to put Devonta Smith with the New York Giants.
All right, I love it. I definitely wasn't a spot that I had pegged for him, but I do think that's a great spot to land there. And Ryan, we are up at the 111, and I've lost track of this mock draft here, so hopefully you're keeping track in your mind.
Yeah, because that's a steel trap. So at the 11th pick, I got 2 receivers. There's 2 receivers here just screaming at me that I want. I'm going to go with Rashad Bateman, and I'm going to put him in Tennessee. I think he does a lot of what we saw Corey Davis do well, except he has a more explosive element to it. There's an absolute shit ton of targets they're losing between Corey Davis and Jonnu Smith. That offense needs something else, and he'll have nowhere near as much pressure with someone on the other side of him like A.J. Brown. It'll let him make those big plays where in 2019 he's averaging 20 yards a catch. Tennessee's where he can fill under that because people play the run. That just opens the top off, and he's one of the most well-rounded receivers out there. He's a great fit for that team.
I love that pick there. I've actually fallen in love with Bateman and moved him up a couple spots in my rankings because I've been watching a little bit more of him, and he's definitely appealing for me for sure.
You're all slow, man, on him.
Yeah, I was a little slow on him. It took a while for me to come around on him. I wasn't sold, but I've watched some more tape on him, and now I'm starting to get sold on him and moving him up in my rankings here. All right, so I'm going to finish off the first round here, and I'm going to go running back one more time. I know I forgot his name. Rondell Moore. He's still on the board. He's not somebody I'm going to go with here because I think if you read my article, 5'7" doesn't really do well in the NFL. I know he's a super athlete. I still don't trust it, so I'm going to pass on Rondell Moore. And I'm going to take Mr. Kenny Gainwell, and I'm going to put him in Atlanta. I think the Atlanta Falcons need a running back. I think Gainwell is kind of a pass-catching running back. He can be a guy that can catch those dump-offs and do some good things with it. So give me Gainwell to the Atlanta Falcons. That wraps up the first round, guys. NFL draft season, of course, is upon us. We're less than a week away here. It's possible you might have Trevor Lawrence's haircut in your pants. That's why our new partners at Manscaped, the leaders of below-the-waist grooming, have teamed up with us to make sure you don't gamble on shaving your balls the way you gamble on football. For all you Armchair Fantasy fans, we have an exclusive 20% offer from Manscaped.com. Get 20% off and free shipping with our promo code Armchair20 at Manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping at Manscaped.com with our promo code Armchair20. And now a word from our other sponsor.
Experience a new way to play daily fantasy sports and esports on Thrive Fantasy. Thrive's game concept revolves around player props, which are simple over-unders on player stats. There are contests for traditional sports including the NFL, NBA, MLB, PGA, and cricket, as well as esports titles including CSGO, Dota 2, League of Legends, and more coming soon. Here's how to play. Choose your lineup of over-unders for top-tier athletes that have the biggest impact on the game. Each prop has a fantasy point total based on how likely it is to hit. The more points the selection is worth, the riskier it is. Rack up the most points and win a share of the prize pool. Thrive is awarded over $2 million in cash, so come and prop up today.
All right, I am back, and I'm here with Sal and Ryan, and we are doing our 2-round SuperFlex mock draft. We are on the second round. Let me recap the first round for you. Trevor Lawrence went 101. Justin Fields went 102. Najee Harris 103. Then we went Zach Wilson, Kyle Pitts, Travis Etienne at the 106, Jamar Chase at the 107. The 108, Javonte Williams, Jalen Waddle, and Devonta Smith, the next two picks there, Rashad Bateman and Kenny Gainwell at the 112. And we are at the 201, and you are up, Mr. Sal. Who do you have here?
Yeah, it is. It's hard to see Rondell Moore still sitting there, and I mean, the size doesn't scare me as much. I mean, I understand. He put something up. I'm like, hey, what about Wes Welker? But obviously a completely different type of player. But it's a super flex, and we got to get back to these quarterbacks. Only 3 quarterbacks went in the first round of what is a super flex. So I'm gonna say Trey Lance, and I'm gonna put Trey Lance with the Denver Broncos. And Trey Lance is, listen, he's raw, right? He only had the 2 years, but he only really played in 2019. But he's got a crazy skill set and a ton of possibility. And if he could pan out to be what today's modern day quarterback has come to be, then I like to get him at the top of the second round. I feel very lucky to get him at the 201.
Yeah, that's definitely a great pick there, and I should have probably taken him at the 112, but I love running backs, so I couldn't get out the running backs there. But yeah, that's a great pick there, and definitely a good value there at the 201 with Trey Lance. Ryan, you get the 202.
I was really hoping everybody missed him because he was listed so low on the sleeper ADP.
Yeah.
I'm just willing this thing into existence because it needs to happen in my life, and that's Terrace Marshall in Baltimore. Everyone is just hurting on them as a bad landing spot, but we've seen an offense with limited talent, and Lamar's never had a real big body outside threat like him. He's huge. He has a crazy wingspan. He ran 4.45. He's everything you want out of your big body receiver, and that's what Baltimore needs desperately. They're gonna end up opening up because running hasn't worked last 2 years, and if you do the same thing, keep failing at it, it's not gonna work. They need to open that offense up, and he's the perfect guy to help them do it.
All right, yeah, I love that. I think Gerson kind of called that one. He thought you'd put Chase with the Ravens, but I took Chase before you had a chance to. But yeah,
I thought we had to be realistic.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be my dream.
Yeah, that would be your dream for sure. Yeah, I think
that's the only way that's happening is if we somehow trade Orlando Brown for a top 10 pick.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Terrace Marshall's a great pick there. I think that would be the perfect fit in Baltimore for sure. All right, I am up at the 203, and I'm going to take a quarterback finally. I think it's my first quarterback in this mock, and I'm going to take the guy that I don't want to go to my team since that team's already been off the board. So I'm going to go with Mac Jones, and I'm going to put him on a team with another quarterback that's got kind of a dad bod, and he had a pretty good career. I'm going with the Pittsburgh Steelers. He could sit behind Ben for a year, maybe even a year and a half. You kind of learn the system and then jump right in and be hopefully a good quarterback for years to come. So Mac Jones to the Pittsburgh Steelers. 204, Sal, what you got?
I can't bear to let Mr. Moore sit there any longer. I have to take him at this spot at the 204. I have to find what I feel is the best landing spot for him out of teams that we did not put somebody with yet. So I guess we're gonna go. Let's make up for the past mistakes at wide receiver for the Philadelphia Eagles. We'll put Rondell Moore with the Philadelphia Eagles and see if we can help usher in a new regime in Philly.
Nice. I think that would be the perfect landing spot for him. I think that their offense should be creative enough. I think with Hurts there that they should be able to figure out ways to use him. So I definitely like that pick there for sure.
We thought it's open competition, man. Flacco's winning that.
yeah, exactly. All right, Ryan, you are up at the 205.
Speaking of mistakes when it comes to drafting wide receivers, this team's notoriously done it for years. And the Green Bay Packers are going to take Tylan Wallace. They need that guy to go against Devontae Adams, who can do a little bit of everything. That's what Wallace does. He plays well inside. He plays outside. He's great running after the catch. He's super aggressive on jump ball and 50-50 ball situations. He's one of the most well-rounded receivers in the draft. I think because of his blown-out knee, we kind of forgot about him a little bit. He's a guy who could, landing spot dependent, he has the opportunity to move up the wide receiver 2 territory pretty quickly because of how much he can do, and it could force targets his way.
I love it. That's a great pick there. And great landing spot. And the Packers, you're right. I mean, they've had some trouble with getting receivers for sure. I mean, between not drafting one last year and then a couple years ago they drafted 3, and none of those 3 panned out. It's been a bad run for them for a while there with the receivers. So that I think he can definitely fill that void that they need. All right, I am up at the 206. Let me recap the second round first before I make my pick. The 201, Trey Lance went. The 202, Terrace Marshall went. The 203, Mac Jones. The 204, Rondell Moore slips to the 204. And Tylan Wallace just went at the 205. I'm up at the 206. And I am looking at a couple running backs at the top of the ADP here with Michael Carter on the board still. Chuba Hubbard's on the board. Trey Sermon is on the board. The top receivers right now are Amon-Ra St. Brown and Kadarius Toney, but I'm not interested in either of those guys yet. I think I'm going to go with I'm going to put Chuba Hubbard on the Houston Texans. That team's kind of in a flux right now. I don't know what they got going on there. I think Chuba Hubbard offers something that the other running backs that are on the team right now don't offer, and that's that top end speed. So give me Chuba Hubbard to the Houston Texans. Ryan, your AC just kicked on, I think.
My what?
Your AC, I can hear that. I can hear the fan kicking on or something.
Yeah. Oh no, it's actually the heat now because it snowed in Pittsburgh a lot this morning.
Wow. All right, so Chuba Hubbard to the the Houston Texans. And Sal, we are going back to you for the 207.
Yeah, I like that. I like that spot for Hubbard. Boy, I want to make like an out of the box pick here, but maybe I'll wait until my next pick comes around to make that one. But so you mentioned Michael Carter, he's there as well. So I'm going to go with Carter here at the 207, and I'm going to put him with the Los Angeles Chargers. I know that we had Pitts going to the Chargers. But as much as I know the running back situation, we have a starting running back there, but he wasn't healthy last year. The guys that they had there in his place did not really pick up the slack. Josh Kelly was a guy who I thought I got late in a lot of places and was going to pan out for me last year, and he just did not do the job when he got the shot. So I could see them going with a running back in LA, so I'll put him there with the Chargers.
Yeah, I like that pick there, and I think that they could get him pretty late in the draft there, and he'll be a good complement to Austin Eckler. So yeah, that's a great pick there, Michael Carter to the LA Chargers. All right, Ryan, we are up at the 208.
So 208, I'm going to take Trey Sermon. I'm going to put him with Buffalo. They don't have the answer at running back. It wasn't Zach Moss.
I think Buffalo's been taken, unfortunately.
Oh, crap. I missed. Who did you get to?
I put Etienne with Buffalo.
He put Etienne with Buffalo.
Oh, okay.
Come on, Ryan.
It's hard to keep track of.
I knew it was bound to happen. I'm just sitting here like, why doesn't Buffalo have running back yet?
You got the Dolphins still there, I believe. That's a good spot for a running back.
Yeah, I guess I'd go with that. Yeah, out of the running backs left, he's the only one who can I can picture in a 3-down role because size speed combination. He showed a little bit of receiving ability, and Miami desperately needs something at that position. So yeah, I'll go same division at least.
All right, so the Miami Dolphins getting who did you say? Trey Sermon. Yep, Trey Sermon. All right, so here I am at the 209, and I'm looking at Amon-Ra St. Brown still on there, Kadarius Toney still there. The two tight ends are still there with Freiermuth and Brevin Jordan. And I think I will take... let me go with Kadarius Toney. I'm going to put Kadarius Toney on the Kansas City Chiefs, actually. They haven't had a good receiver 2 next to Tyreek Hill for a while. We thought it was McCole Hardman. We thought it was Sammy Watkins. A couple guys have kind of shown out and shown flashes there, but no one's really stepped up to be that number 2 guy. I think Kadarius Toney complements him pretty well. He's a big body receiver that can complement Tyreek Hill. So give me Toney here to the Kansas City Chiefs. And we are back to you, Sal, for the 210.
Yeah, and you mentioned the tight ends, and so I'm definitely going to go with a tight end here. And I play in a lot of tight end premium leagues, so this guy's going to be going a little bit higher, and that's Pat Freiermuth. And I'm going to put him with the Dallas Cowboys. I think that there's a chance that the Cowboys could try to make a move for Kyle Pitts on draft day, move up for him. I think if, Jerry Jones wants something, he tries to go and get it. I don't know what they have to give up to move up for Pitts. That's the biggest problem.
Yep.
Unless they mortgage the future in draft picks big time. So I don't know if they're going to do that. So I think they get their tight end in Pat Freiermuth.
I like it. Yeah, and I've heard that rumor, too, that Pitts is possibly going to go to Dallas. And what the offense would look like would be crazy. I mean, you got Zeke in the backfield. You got CeeDee Lamb. You got Amari Cooper. You got Gallup. And then you got Pitts in the middle there. That offense would be unguardable. All right, Ryan, you are up at the 211.
At 211, I'm going to take Elijah Moore, and I want to put him on the Saints. They don't have a receiver. They have 2 options on their offense, and that's Alvin Kamara and Michael Thomas. They don't have a wide receiver, too. He fits in that same position, working out the slot that we saw Emmanuel Sanders eat up targets with last year, except he's young, explosive, and playmaker, and he can stretch the field. So I don't know what that offense is going to look like quarterback-wise, but they need another piece to it.
All right. I like it. All right, and I'm going to round this draft off here. I'm going to go with my little bit of an off-the-wall pick here. That name has been mentioned a little bit on Twitter. Our boy Ray Garvin loves this guy. He's talked about him quite a bit. He's kind of sold me on him as well. Another running back for me. I'm going to go with Elijah Mitchell, and I'm going to put him with the 49ers. I do think that we go running back at some point in this draft. I think, we've heard rumors of ETN and Najee Harris. Those guys won't land there, I don't think. I think we'll wait till a little bit later and get a running back. And I think Elijah Mitchell fits that bill. So give me Elijah Mitchell at the 212 to the 49ers.
You got Wayne Goldman. You don't need him.
Yeah, exactly. I've heard that. They're out of the running for a running back now. Yeah, I don't know about all that. All right, let me recap the both rounds here. So first round we had Trevor Lawrence, of course, at the 101, Justin Fields at the 102, Najee Harris, Zach Wilson, Kyle Pitts went next, Travis Etienne, Jamar Chase, Javonte Williams, and then we had Jalen Waddle at the 109, Devonta Smith, Rashad Bateman, and Kenneth Gainwell at the 112. Coming back to the 201, the steal of the draft, I think, was probably the 201 here with Trey Lance. I just completely forgot about him. Like Ryan said, the ADP on Sleeper had him way, way, way down the list. And trying to host and draft is very difficult, so I missed him. So great pick there, Sal. The 202 with Terrace Marshall, Mac Jones, 203, 204, Rondell Moore. Tylan Wallace, Chuba Hubbard, Michael Carter, Trey Sermon went next, and then to round it off, Kadarius Toney, Pat Freiermuth, and Elijah Mitchell at the end there at the 211, and then Elijah Moore at the 212. All right, great stuff, guys, great stuff. Let's do some keep cut trade.
It's now time for keep cut trade.
All right, so I got a couple here that I want to do. I got one from each position, basically, and we'll all kind of talk about these three guys. This one I had posted on one of my Facebook groups, and I got some pretty good responses, too. Sal, I'll go to you first. So keep, cut, trade, Jalen Reagor, Michael Pittman Jr., or Laviska Shenault.
Yeah, so I'm keeping Michael Pittman. I think Michael Pittman is in line with Wentz coming in there. I'm not a person who thinks that Wentz is done. I think Wentz will go there and get his career back on track. And I think Michael Pittman is in line to absolutely blow up in that offense. I'm cutting Jalen Reagor because he wasn't the right wide receiver to take there. I should have had a chance to take Justin Jefferson, and I ended up with Jalen Reagor. And as we saw, I took Rondell Moore to go there in the draft that we just did. And the regime that's there didn't draft Jalen Reagor, so they don't necessarily have. So I'm cutting him because I'm not sure what he's going to be in that offense, and I have a lot of shares, by the way. And I'm going to trade Laviska because he should have some pretty good trade value, especially once Trevor lands there. You could kind of, sell him based on that. So that would be the direction I'd go with those three.
I like it. Ryan, you have any different thoughts on that one?
Nope. I think Pittman's a stud. He's in line to get targets. We've seen Wentz force feed guys he likes. And Pittman has all the traits that he kind of goes towards. I don't hate Jalen Reagor. I like Jalen Reagor, so I still have some faith. But Laviska Shenault's trade value right now is at its peak. And I don't think you're going to get a higher value for a trade for him than you're going to get now.
Yeah, I agree. It's a clean sweep for me, too. I'm going the same way. And Michael Pittman is the one guy in this list, I think, that has the chance to be the number one option in the passing game for his team. So he's definitely who I'm keeping. Shenault, like you mentioned, he's getting Trevor Lawrence. The offense has got some good pieces there. Shenault's trade value is really high. And Jalen Reagor with Hurts at quarterback, we don't know what that's going to look like. So, yeah, I'm cutting Reagor as well. All right, the next one we got is quarterbacks. Ryan, I'm going to go to you first on this one. Keep, cut, trade, Drew Lock, Sam Darnold, or Jameis Winston.
Keeping Sam Darnold because he's the only one whose future with the team is completely solid. They just traded for him, and we have talked to Drew Lock of they're going to draft somebody, or Denver's going to draft somebody, so I'm not as confident about him. And Jameis, that whole New Orleans show is terrible. So I'm cutting Jameis, keeping Darnold, and trading Lock just off the fact he's a starting quarterback and hoping it's a SuperFlex league.
All right. Sal, what do you got?
Is there an option to cut all three? Or that's
I knew that was going to come up with these three guys.
I think the keep is definitely Darnold, for the reasons that Ryan pointed out. Right? He's going to get a shot there. And I think Darnold could be a good quarterback in the league. He just got screwed up by the Jets, which I hope doesn't happen with Zach Wilson. And I really I could care less the other two, but I would cut Drew Lock. Because I think they are going to take a quarterback, and I don't think he's going to have a starting position in the future in the NFL. And if Jameis is able to get that starting position, we've seen what he did even with the 30 interceptions. He was a top 5 fantasy quarterback. So if he gets named the starter, and I could get value for him like that, I'm trading him.
Yeah, I'm with you, Sal. I'm on the same thing. I'm cutting Locke. I do think they replace him in the draft, or they give him one more year, and if he doesn't pan out, then he's done. Darnold has the most upside of these three, I think, at least for the long term in Dynasty. That's definitely one I want. So give me Darnold to keep. And then I'm going to trade Jameis Winston and try to get value for him for the same things you mentioned. I mean, that Saints offense has always been good. They've been good for a long time. Now, granted, it's not Drew Brees back there anymore, but if Winston can be even a fraction of what he was with Tampa and getting that ball down the field, I think he can have some value. So I'm going to trade Winston as well. All right, next one we have is the running backs here. I got David Montgomery, Miles Sanders, and Joe Mixon. Sal, I'm going to go to you first on this one.
Ugh, I was hoping you wouldn't. But since I'm here, David Montgomery's value is not going to be any higher than it was at the end of last season. You probably maybe even missed the window to trade him already because we know what happens is you need to do that pretty quickly with a player like that. So if there's still some trade value left there, I'm going to trade Montgomery based on how he closed the season out. I'm going to cut Joe Mixon. I do think that he'll be okay in that offense, but I do believe it's going to become a pass-first, pass-heavy offense. I know Gio's finally gone, but Mixon just hasn't grabbed the bull by the horns, and the opportunities he had there. So I'm going to cut him, and I'm going to keep Miles Sanders. There's no more Doug Peterson shenanigans with multiple running backs in that backfield. So I'm hoping Miles Sanders is going to come in and be it every downish back. I mean, there's not too many every down backs in the NFL anymore, but I do think he could play that role. So I do think if he's given the opportunity, that he could really flourish, and so I will keep Miles Sanders.
All right, I like it. Ryan, what are you doing with these three guys?
I felt personally attacked on this one. These are all people who at some point I liked. I'm keeping Sanders. Like I said, there shouldn't be as much question marks in that offense. He has least miles on him. He's super talented. He can break the big play in time, and he has the most perceived value. I'm going to cut David Montgomery because I don't think there's a fantasy league out there where there's not at least one person who still believes in Joe Mixon. I'd say 1 out of every 10 to 12 fantasy people still love Joe Mixon and can't move on. And they still think, oh, Burrow's there now. Oh, he's healthy. I think every league you can find that person, and I'd rather take that chance than try to trade David Montgomery where he's at now.
All right, so y'all both went the same route. I'm going to go a little different route here. I'm going to try to trade Miles Sanders, and I think that because I think he does have the most value. Obviously, you both kept him, so I do think I can get a lot from Miles Sanders. I do think he's a great running back, but running backs are the easiest replaceable position in fantasy and give me the most value from the most guy I can. I think Montgomery, while he won't be what he was last year, I do think that he'll be good enough for an RB2, which is probably how I drafted him anyway. So I'll keep Montgomery in that RB2 spot, and then I will cut Joe Mixon just because he can't stay healthy. And we've seen this story before where he just can't do it. He did it 1 year, and we all kind of stood back and watched it, but then he hasn't done it since. So I'm gonna trade Miles, keep Montgomery, and cut Joe Mixon. All right, last one we got is the tight ends, and Ryan, I'll go to you first on this one. We got Evan Ingram. We got Zach Ertz and Austin Hooper. Keep, cut, trade. Ingram, Ertz, or Hooper?
I'm cutting Zach Ertz because he's 100. I mean, his value's been destroyed in Goddard's there. I think they couldn't trade him, and they were trying too hard, so I don't have faith there. I am trading Austin Hooper just because he's better than Ertz. I think you get more for him. I'm keeping Evan Ingram because I think we've been really hard on Evan Ingram as a community. He had 63 catches and 654 yards last year, and it's really not that bad. It's the fact he only got in the red zone once. You add 2 more touchdowns, 3 more touchdowns, he's pushing a top 7 tight end. And that offense is getting healthier, getting better. They added Galladay, which I think helps. I mean, touchdown production can't get any worse. So that offense needs to improve, and it did. So I think more scoring opportunities makes his upside there because the yardage receptions are.
All right, I like the logic there. Sal, what are you doing with these 3 tight ends?
Yeah, I'm going to do the exact same things that Ryan did, and I'm like the president of the Evan Ingram fan club. I always want to give. I just think the talent is there. It's mental mistakes, right? It's dropping that deep pass that was in his hands that cost the Giants an actual game, and when that happened, the Giant fans turned on him so bad, and it just became. But you can't deny the actual talent that this guy has. He's got to put it together. So I'm going to take the chance that he does put it together. It hurts me to cut Zach. He's been so good to me for so long, but it's the facts are what the facts are. I don't expect him to be with the Eagles still when the season starts. I still expect something to happen. I don't expect him to be there. And Austin Hooper is what he is, right? So if I can convince somebody that he's worth the trade, I'll try to trade him.
All right, good stuff. Once again, I'm going to go a little different. I'm going to go with Evan Ingram, and I'm going to try to trade him. I think I can get the most value for the same reasons y'all just talked about. Tight end position is one of those where if you don't have one of those top 3 guys, you just have a guy. So if I'm looking at these 3 guys here and they're all quote-unquote a guy, give me the guy that has the most value. I will cut Austin Hooper, and I will try to trade Zach Ertz on name value. Someone out there is going to think, okay, he'll be traded somewhere else, and he'll have value wherever he goes. So I'm going to try to trade Zach Ertz. I'm sorry. I'm going to keep Austin Hooper and trade Zach Ertz. That was a little confusing. Hope y'all got that one. I'm all messed up here. But so I'm trading Evan Ingram. I am going to cut Austin Hooper, and I'm going to keep Zach Ertz. That's what I'm doing. There we go. All right. Sorry about that. Let's move on to the Forgotten Fantasy Player.
Get ready for GoingFor2.com's Forgotten Fantasy Player of the Week.
All right, Sal. So you told us you had a good one already pegged when you saw the segment on here. So who you got for your Forgotten Fantasy Player?
All right, so first question. I probably have asked you guys this before. Jeff, how old are you?
I am 43.
Beautiful. So you're in my neighborhood. Ryan, I know you're younger, but how old are you?
35.
35. Okay, so naturally, I'm going to be 47 this August, and I'm always bringing up old players and a guy who probably played before half the guys that are listening to the show. But the guy who instantly popped into my head was Stephen Davis, former running back of the Washington football team and the Carolina Panthers. And let me tell you a quick story. I started playing fantasy football in the early 90s. And back then, it wasn't on computer, kids, all right? You had to go buy the weekly Pro Football Weekly newspaper. You had to go to the actual 7-Eleven and pick these things up. And I used to buy Pro Football Weekly every week. And we had already had our draft in 1999. And I was reading Pro Football Weekly. I had this like little tidbits, things around the league section. And it just randomly said, rumor has it Stephen Davis is going to get a shot to be the starting running back in Washington this year. So I picked up my landline phone and I called my cousin to make the ad drop because that's what we did back then. And I added Stephen Davis. He's like, Stephen Davis, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to give it a shot, whatever. Stephen Davis, in his first 3 years of the league, 96, 97, 98, totaled 815 rushing yards. And in 1999, he rushed for 1,405 yards and 17 touchdowns. He had, in the first 3 games, 2 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns, and 3 touchdowns. 8 touchdowns in the first 3 weeks. Am I a genius? No. I happen to be reading the right newspaper at the right time, but I looked like a goddamn genius. And he went on. That was only 14, by the way, that year that he played. 1,400 yards and 17 touchdowns. He had 13 or more in the next 4 to 5 years. And for a 5-year period, he really was a legit NFL running back and a fantasy football RB1 stud. And I don't think a lot of people remember who the hell he was. So, yeah, for me, I think that's a perfect guy for this segment.
Yeah, that definitely is. And you're right. I mean, that was a time back then, because I started playing in like 98, 99. That was a time when the running backs were, they got like all the snaps, all the reps. There was no running back committee back then. He was a workhorse. He was a monster. And yeah, that was a good one. I like that one a lot because he was definitely one of those guys you didn't really think about being a stud, but he was definitely a monster. Good stuff. All right, that wraps up the show, guys. Let's go around the room real quick. Give us your Twitter handle one more time and what we can follow you at and all your good stuff going on right now. Sal, we'll go to you first.
Yeah, at Sal Leto, FF, SALLETO, FF. You could check out the SFB Pod-a-Thon page, also on Twitter at SFB Pod-a-Thon, and at FF Funhouse. Those are the 3 spots where you could find me. But, yeah, we're planning and prepping for the Pod-a-Thon. It's about, 2-ish months away now. We're 75 days, I think, till the drafts kick off. And like I said to everyone, we don't want to just put on the big names. We want to put on the small names because, like us, we're the backbone of this community. The big names are great, and they really do a lot for the community and give back. But the guys like us who are out here grinding, the guys in that Twitter community, are the guys that are the backbone, guys and girls, very importantly. When I say guys, I say it as a general statement. But ladies, you're crushing it, and you're coming on strong as well. And that's the thing I want to point out. I'm aiming for big diversity on this year's show. So there's going to be a lot of different faces, a lot of variety of faces, and I can't wait. So reach out to me, DM me in any one of those Twitter handles if you want to get on, and we are going to shrink down the overnights to 15 to 20-minute segments to get more people on, because I think people just want to be a part of this, and I want as many people to feel like they're a part of it as possible. So, guys, thanks again. This was a lot of fun. I usually trade away all my rookie draft picks, so it was fun actually picking some tonight. And hope to be back again with you guys another time.
Good stuff. Ryan, what you got going on?
Find me here every Wednesday night. Find me at the Sports Illustrated Draft Bible. We have our podcast on Tuesday. Draft weekend, we'll be doing a 4-hour show here. We'll be on Draft Bible all day on Friday. I'm doing a 2-hour segment there from 1 till 3. Definitely check that out. I know we have guests coming on, like Micah Parsons is coming on the show. Nice. Not with me, unfortunately. But and we do some other guest spots for the draft too, so check that out.
All right, good stuff. As always, guys, you can follow me at Jeff Lambert77. Ryan mentioned the 4-hour podcast next week. We're going to be giving out our join link on social media, so pretty much anybody listening to the podcast right now can join, jump on, rant about your team, come on, talk some trash, whatever you want to do. Anybody can jump onto the podcast. We'll be live for 4 straight hours. Should be a lot of fun. For Sal, for Ryan, I'm Jeff. We will see y'all next Thursday.